Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 81 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivets. Before we get started, I do want to apologize if my voice sounds a little raspy or I'm not sounding the same. I think I'm coming down with something, I can't tell. My throat's a little scratchy, a little dry, so I'm going to try to get through this as best as I can. Alright, so this week we had advertised that Asuka would face Liv Morgan, and that was pretty much what we had known going into this week's episode. It did open with William Regal in an empty arena. He began mentioning the loss of Dusty Rhodes last year and the creation of the Dusty Tag Team Classic. He said that they would bring it back this year as well, and the finals will take place at TakeOver Toronto. It does begin next week, and we got a little more information for that throughout the show. I'm pumped. It was a great tournament last year. It led to some really great tag team matches, and the winning team actually ended up feuding for the NXT title later on, so we got a lot out of it. And it should make for some interesting matchups. After that, the show started with Ty Dillinger and Angelo Dawkins. He did his stupid ball mixing thing in front of Ty. Dillinger took him down, did his 10 taunt, and then made fun of Dawkins' own taunt. There was a little back and forth action before Dillinger took control. He landed a leg sweep and a diving knee smash, and then he won with his tiebreaker finisher. As Dillinger was walking up the ramp, Bobby Roode came out. And obviously with the intro to the show, I have a feeling that every time that Bobby Roode is going to appear on the show, I'm going to use his theme song as the introduction. I'm pretty satisfied with that. I like his theme song enough to make it the intro. There will be some weeks that it goes back to the regular NXT theme, but every time he's on, it's Bobby Roode. He came out, he said he was wowed by Ty Dillinger's performance, and he said it was impressive. He isn't at 10 yet, but he can get there with the right training. Roode said that one of the reasons he came to NXT was to win the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. The crowd was immediately on board as a glorious 10 chant began. Roode said he doesn't need just any partner, but he needs the perfect partner. He put out his hand for a handshake. Dillinger was a little hesitant, but he ended up shaking Roode's hand, and the crowd erupted. As for the match, it was a quick opener. Really nothing much to it. Dillinger sold a little bit at the beginning, but it was a showcase to get him back into his winning ways. Dawkins, at this point, I don't know what to make of him. He just looks like a bloated Shelton Benjamin. Not as athletic, though, which is a shame. As for the partnership of Roode and Dillinger, I kind of knew about it when I saw some of the spoilers for the tapings coming up, but I like the way that it laid out. I think this is one of my favorite teams to win it all, along with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I like the promo that he was acting like Dillinger's saving grace, that he could bring him to the promised land, and the crowd was hooked from the get-go. I was hooked. It should be a fun story to follow with these two. We also got word that Mandy Rose will be taking on Ember Moon later in the show. And thankfully, we don't have to wait for this match. It'll be over and done with within a half hour. And after that, Hideo Itami was interviewed about his match against Lince Dorado as the main event. The second match was supposed to be the Ely brothers against the Revival. These two twins had medical tape. They both had them on their right shoulder. Really couldn't tell them apart. They mentioned their names once, and that was it. The Revival made their way to the ring, but as they were walking down, Samoa Joe ran right past them, or briskly walked, and he attacked both Ely brothers. He ended up living up to his promise that he's going to make to William Regal. The Revival, after seeing that, kind of zipped up their jackets and walked back up the ramp. Joe then grabbed the microphone. He called out Regal, saying that these were his first two victims, and either to bring him Nakamura or hand him his championship, and he left. That happened. As for the match, I didn't know what I was going to expect. Probably a squash match for the Revival. But I do like that Joe is living up to his word. He's not one of those heels that just kind of forgets and makes empty promises. He's going to take out everyone that he can and make sure that William Regal makes a decision one way or another. I was looking forward to seeing the Revival in action. It has been a few weeks, but I guess we'll wait one more week. We got another Dan Math vignette. He does debut next week. And then it was our second match, our official second match, Mandy Rose and Ember Moon. Rose caught Moon with a big right forearm to the face. Moon landed a few kicks and then a fallaway slam. She got a near fall after a springboard crossbody. Rose got some separation and connected it with a bicycle knee instead of a bicycle kick. Pretty much a bicycle knee smash. She did counter a head scissors into a sit-out face buster. Nice counter on that one. She pretty much caught Ember Moon midair and then just planted her. She didn't look bad in the ring, but Ember Moon made her comeback. She shoved Mandy Rose face first into the turnbuckle and then hit her corkscrew stunner to get the win. As for the match, I wasn't expecting much, but these two definitely surprised me. Mostly, obviously, Mandy Rose surprised me what she could do. A little hesitant in the beginning, just trying to get her bearings, but once she felt comfortable enough, she landed some good moves. But obviously it's Ember Moon. She was going to win. She's the rising star in this women's division. So having her go over was the right choice. But Mandy Rose didn't look too bad in defeat. We caught up with Gargano and Ciampa, talked about getting back at the Revival at the Cruiserweight Classic. They said that they had a few things that they wanted to check off their list. And they mentioned that the Tag Team Classic was how they got their opportunity at NXT. And that their checklist ended with winning the NXT Tag Team titles. Third match was Authors of Pain versus I Don't Even Care at this point. Authors of Pain won. Paul Ellering, after the match, he said that Chapter 1 was the arrival, and the next chapter will unleash a plethora, as he said it, of pain. And for now, that's all we need to know. At least we got something, right? I mean, it's better than what we've had before with them just coming out and destroying people. At least Paul Ellering said something. But I guess their overall purpose is just to unleash pain on the tag team division. William Regal was asked for an update on Nakamura. He said he could not provide one as Nakamura is a strange character and does not answer phones. He said he was going to give a list of the teams in the Tag Team Classic, but Blake and Murphy interrupted. They actually began arguing. William Regal sent them on their way. Fourth match, Asuka versus Liv Morgan. Corey Graves, as obviously Liv Morgan is from New Jersey, Corey Graves made fun of the New Jersey school system. As a product of that school system, I let out a little chuckle. It's pretty funny. Asuka no-sold the dropkick. She then took down Morgan in like a face plant and locked in an armbar to get the win. That was that. Much shorter than the Ember Moon Mandy Rose match. I was actually expecting a little bit more out of Liv Morgan, but it was what it was. Asuka was then asked who's her next victim. She said that nobody's ready for her. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There really is no one on the women's roster. Unless, I mean, Ember Moon's probably the only one, but I don't think they're ready to go through that match just yet. After all that, it was time for our main event of Hideo Itami versus Lince Dorado. The two ran around the ring a little bit. Itami caught him with a kick off his springboard. Dorado drop kicked Itami off the top rope to the outside and then landed a top rope splash as we went to the first commercial break. Itami fought back. He landed a tornado hangman and a diving clothesline. He missed his first attempt at the hesitation dropkick. Lince went for a handspring back elbow, but Hideo Itami caught him for the GTS, but Dorado escaped out of that. Dorado missed a shooting star press a little later, and Hideo made his comeback. He hit the running kick, and then his hesitation dropkick before winning with the GTS. Entertaining main event. Didn't go on too long. Dorado looked good in defeat, but Itami, he got a good chunk of offense in. The second half of the match was Hideo making his comeback. The crowd was a little quiet throughout, though, which caught me off guard. I guess they really didn't know who to cheer for, considering they're both baby faces. But as Hideo Itami was celebrating, Austin Aries attacked him from behind. Itami countered an Irish whip, but Aries held onto the ropes and left the ring, and he kind of boasted with his arms in the air as he walked back up. And the show closed with Hideo Itami in the ring, yelling at Austin Aries. Overall, it was a good week of NXT. The hour just flew by. There were some good matches. There were some good storylines that are being built and developed. I like the Roode Dillinger pairing, and we also know that Ciampa and Gargano are going to be the two of the teams in the Tag Team Classic. We finally got something out of Paul Ellering, and the Aries Itami feud is getting the ball rolling with, I think TakeOver is a little less than 2 months away, so they're starting to build that. I'm interested to see what the other teams are in the Tag Team Classic. I don't know who else they're going to bring back. You got the Revival obviously going to be in it. Maybe the Authors of Pain. I don't see them winning a trophy. That doesn't seem to fit their gimmick. TM61, another team I could see being in it, but I'm trying to think how many teams were in it last year. 16? So it'll be interesting to see what teams they bring out from the outside to fill in the rest of the spots. So yeah, next week does start the Tag Team Classic, so we're going to have that kicking off. If you guys want, follow me on Twitter at bpiv_sports. And you can rate review the show on YouTube only. No more Podbean, no more iTunes. All right, guys, I'll be back here with episode 82 next week. Peace.